Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Prairie Podcast. It's so exciting to have you join us for this episode because we got a very wonderful man here next to me, and we're going to hear some great stories from him and a couple different perspectives and thoughts from him. So, no matter who you are, whether you're a student of the college, someone in the community, maybe you're a student from PCA, whoever it could be, you're welcome to this episode. You're welcome to the podcast because we have Barry with us today. So, Barry, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about who you are. Give us the background, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on here, Andrew. So, my name is Barry Sommer, and have been at Prairie Christian Academy now for this is the end of my 14th year here already.
Wow.
And it's been great. I started off as a grade three teacher and a music teacher,
Hmm.
and then I did some grade five there. I've always done music alongside it as well. So, elementary music, secondary, so concert bands. And in the last 3 years, I stepped into the vice principal role as well,
Hmm.
and still doing music in that, and then, just working with an incredible team. We're a K to 12 school, and we have a dorm program, and our school is about 330 students, I think, right now from K to 12. So it's a small school, but it's great.
That's excellent. So Barry, you've stepped into this role of not vice president, vice
Yeah, that'd be
principal,
nice. Hey,
vice
yeah,
president. Man, well, that'd be a nice job right there. Get you a
yeah,
whole new office.
yeah.
So you've been vice principal for a couple of years here now. You've done some band. I'm curious. Could you flesh out kind of what do you do as a vice principal? What responsibilities comes with that job? Give us some details on that. What's going on in your regular
Yeah,
day?
yeah, that's a good question. It's a whole host of uh, mostly connecting
Okay.
with our staff and with our teaching staff, with our students, with a lot of families. If students have extra needs that like IPP, individual program plans in schools, I help develop those. We work with educational psychologists.
Yeah.
We work with a whole host of other principals in our school division as well. And my day is always busy, always meeting, always connecting, and I love that part of the job.
Certainly. So maybe that's the answer to the next question I have for you, or maybe it's something else. I'm kind of curious, what's your favorite part about being a vice principal? What do you really, really enjoy? If it is connecting, or maybe there's some other aspects of it.
Yeah, it would be relationships.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And building those relationships and working with people. I love working with people. If some people are fantastic to work with, some are complicated to work with.
Hmm.
I'm complicated to work with. We all are a bit, but there's I think most cases you can come out with a common ground when you're working with them. So being a support in serving our community is really important to us. And then also, a favorite part would be watching students grow,
Hmm.
and not just watching them grow physically, but watching them grow from the young kindergarten, grade one, two student to the grade 12 student, and then beyond.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, we don't connect as much after they graduate, but it's interesting to hear stories from parents. Sometimes they'll come by the school again, and we get a little glimpse of kind of where the Lord has taken them and what's happening in their lives.
Exactly. Maybe such as a person running the cameras behind us here.
Right? Yeah, yeah. The person behind the camera. Yeah. Am I
Ex-
allowed to say his name?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, Vaughn, Mr. Vaughn. I taught him probably from the very beginning, and I'll share one story
Of course.
that Vaughn said to me when he was in grade two, and now he's in his second year, going into his second year of college. And he said, Mr. Summer, we were in music class, said, Mr. Summer, you should shave off your beard and just put it on your head. And I said, that's a great idea.
Excellent
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, it's a good, yeah,
So, it seems like you have a good time with the students, and it's always fun hearing the stories as they grow up and learning and connecting with them, being able to see them from kindergarten to grade 12 and beyond.
yeah.
I'd be fascinated. Would there be any difference, or maybe there's another story or another something you really enjoyed about being kind of a music teacher? I know that was a big
Mm,
part of your profession, something you
mhm.
really enjoyed. But do you have any further thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, I love it. I'm very passionate about music education and music education in our schools, and do really feel that the need for that in the schools, and you know, it just works on so many different parts of our brain and in development, but it also, if we're thinking biblically, in working at a Christian school. Um, I think that the Lord really takes great joy in music,
Mhm.
and loves worship, and loves, He created music to worship Him and to celebrate Him. So I think that it's a valuable element in our schools as well. So yeah, I love working with students. We start bands in grade 6, and then we go all the way to grade 12. We do a lot of touring around Alberta and in different schools just to kind of promote the music programs and PCA. And then there was one year where we went to Disneyland on a
Wow.
bit of a trip there, and yeah, it's been good.
Excellent. Wonderful. So you've given us a bit of a background on the work you're doing there, some of your favorite parts about that. I want to turn this a little bit back to you, Barry. I want to hear some of your story, some of your testimony, if you'd be willing to share that with us. Kind of what's your journey been like coming up to this point of teaching and leading now? Kind of what's the story been like if you're willing to share that with us?
Yeah, yeah. You know what? In high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
No idea. My thoughts at that point were I'm either going to be a construction worker or a chef, and uh, and now I'm a music teacher, an administrator,
Yes.
and
Very different.
there were some hardships, and I wasn't always a good kid, and so if my colleagues and my teaching staff knew me as a kid, they might have given up on me
Yeah.
because I was not nice. I was not nice to my teachers, my school, my parents, and I had several people that didn't give up on me along the way.
Mm.
And one of them, I think, was my mother, who saved every penny that she had to make sure that we could go to college. And for a time, she was a single mom with 4 kids, and there wasn't a lot of money there, I don't think. And so she worked hard on saving and praying for us. And I was kind of the black sheep, and there was definitely potential where everyone could have given up on me,
Yeah.
and just said, well, "Okay, you're a lost cause. Just get out of here and do your thing. If you want to be in the partying, want to do all that other stuff, then just go do it." But they didn't, and I should have. I feel like I should have never even gone to college or university or any of
Mm.
that kind of stuff, but I did because my mom worked hard and saved up, whatever she could for us kids to make sure that we got an education, because that's what we did back in the day. And so after I graduated, I would say that I dedicated my life to Christ in between grade 11 and 12.
Yeah.
And I went from the party animal Barry to a fully devoted follower of Christ in the span of a couple months, I would
Yeah.
say. And I remember I used to have, in my locker at school. I went to a public school, very inappropriate pictures in my locker, and inappropriate bands, or just it would be a collage of just people going the wrong way,
Yeah.
or people that would not have a good influence on me. And
Yeah.
the next year, I had after I became saved, I had pictures of Jesus in my locker,
Wow.
and my friends came up and they were like, "What's wrong with you?
What
Like,
happened?
what happened?" That's exactly what they said, and so I had an opportunity to teach them about Christ, and I guess the it's a complex scenario, or a complex way that it all happened, but it stems down to me just thinking, there's got to be more to life than this,
Hmm.
than than the partying, than the trying to pretend that I'm someone that I'm not. And there's got to be more to this. And so, really looking into that and having some friends around me that were believers, they helped me on my journey of faith. Our youth pastors were great connection pieces as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of through that I became saved, and then I went to Prairie for my
Okay.
first year,
There you go.
first year of college. It has nothing to do with chef school or or carpentry,
Yep.
but my pastor at the time said, "Hey Barry, you know what?" He was a previous alumni. He said, why don't you just take 1 year and go to Bible college?" And I kind of thought, well, all right. I like music, and there
Yep.
was a music program here at the time, run by James Jansen and Vernon Charter. He was a part of this as well, a community member,
Mhm.
and yeah, a number of people. And I honestly thought that going to Bible college here in Three Hills, I thought that it was going to be kind of just, I had this perception that it was going to be just everyone was going to be perfect and wearing ties and their hair would be parted,
Yeah.
and it was that kind of new to this realm. And I came here, I showed up, and then one of the first people I met had big dreadlocks in, and I was like, all right, this is a safe place. And I learned so much in that. Yeah, I was here for
Hmm.
3 years. I was only going to kind of check it out for 1 year. And I learned so much. And I remember in some of my classes that I took, some people were kind of already knowing this stuff. They grew up in the faith and the church, and I was just like soaking it all in.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it was a great experience
Hmm.
for that. Yeah.
Certainly. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Barry, and giving some of the background there, some of your story. I think it's an encouraging testimony, a reminder that to not give up on people, to keep praying for them, to keep supporting them, to keep with them, when they're
Mm,
struggling. So thanks
hmm.
for sharing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this background, you've got some of your testimony out there, you've shared a bit about your work. I'm curious, let's put them together. I'd be kind of curious to how's your faith impacting your work as a vice
Hmm.
principal? You're connecting with a lot of people, you're engaging. There's a lot of communications and relationship building. I'd be kind of curious from your perspective, how's your faith tying into that?
Hmm. Yeah. No, good question. It's it, I'm blessed right now because I'm working in a Christian environment, and this
Hmm.
is one of our main focuses is Christ centered education. I think
Yeah.
since we were part of the college, I think in 1938. So Prairie has been around for a long time, and we were blessed to be part of that, and now we're part of this. A public school division, but we're still a Christian.
Yep.
We're still a Christian school, and I get the opportunity to share my faith daily and freely
Hmm.
to students, to our staff. It's important for us as staff members in our school, all the teachers and administrators. Twice a week, we get together before school starts and we pray. One of the
Hmm.
mornings, we just check in with each other. How was your weekend? How are you guys doing? And how can we support each other in prayer? It's a
Yep.
great way to start a week.
Yep.
And then we have another day where we do devotions as a staff,
Mm.
where we have a small community. We rotate kind of through groups throughout the year, and that just keeps we keep Christ at the forefront in
Yep.
that,
Yep.
right? As we go on, and then also in connections with other people within the division, we're able to share our faith at times, or if
Mm.
people have questions, we're there to hopefully answer them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, and kind of with that mindset, that vision, Christ at the forefront, and the way you're engaging with that at PCA. I'm curious, was there anyone that kind of exemplified that for you, that was kind of an inspiration for you? Now, you in a position of administration or leadership,
Hmm.
you want to carry that on. What's the motivation, maybe, or what's the influence, whether that's from a person, maybe it's from scripture, or maybe it's just
Hmm.
how you keep doing it, and
Hmm.
that's awesome. I'd be curious if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. That we have I have lots of mentors. and some of them don't even know that they're my mentors,
Yep.
right? That's I've tried it before where it's been kind of an organized mentorship, and I say, do you want to be my mentor? And it's just weird. It's just I don't know. It doesn't always end up to be really natural. So I purposely find people that or things to listen to that will invest into my life and into my
Mm,
leadership
yep.
in a godly way. And also, people who aren't Christians have valuable things to offer as well in the leadership realm. Somebody that I listen to often is John Maxwell,
Okay. Yeah.
as a leader, as a person of faith, and I learn lots from his podcasts and from his books.
Mm,
Carrie Newhoff would be another one. Craig Rochelle, all these kind of these leadership gurus in the Christian world, but then also in the secular world as well.
yep.
They have far reach, and then finding people around me who uh, who are great thinkers. It's I tell kids this often. Uh, who are kind of going through challenging times, or I find them
Yep.
getting into groups that maybe aren't that helpful. I say, you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. That's a truth. That's a biblical truth that is so important. And so I'm very intentional of
Mm,
who I let kind of in my group, who I can learn from,
yep.
right? And there's so many gifted people out there, and it's very informal, but I have a list of questions at times that I'll just kind of pull out and I'll ask some of these leaders, so I can learn from them and do this. And another thing that I do is, in Matthew, the greatest commands is, love the Lord your God
Hmm.
with all your heart, and the second is like it, to love your neighbor as yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's super huge as educators, to love our students,
Mm,
and to not give up on them.
yep.
Because if my staff worked with me as a kid, it would be easy to give up on me. Be
Yep.
very easy. And I've definitely matured in some ways. People who listen to this podcast will be like, Barry, you haven't matured at all. You haven't. But we've matured in some ways,
Yep.
and Christ has worked in me, and so
Mm,
it's super encouraging to see that in our kids as well.
yeah.
Um, I share a story about, we have a student that was very difficult and very easy,
Yep.
and very easy to give up on in a sense. And by the time of graduation, everyone is just, honestly thinking it'll be easier when this student isn't here.
Yep.
We had gotten to the point where been to the office, the student had been to the office many times, and frustrations, and just kind of had a mean bent against them, and they graduated, and we wish them well, just like we do with all our students. And years went by, and the student, I think, struggled and got into drugs and alcohol, kind of at a fairly deep level, and went through rehab programs,
Hmm.
uh, and then a couple years after, they showed up at our school again, and graduated, I don't know, 23, 24 years old. They showed up at our door, and they walked in, and the student saw our secretary and gave her a big hug, and
Huh.
went around to our staff and started connecting with them. And this wasn't my connection, this was our staff's connection,
Yep.
because they had this connection with him. They taught him, and they loved him. And he looked at our staff with tears in his eyes, and when we said, like, what brought you back, after leaving rehab, and they said, I didn't know where else to go. I just
Hmm.
didn't know where else to go. I knew that something that happened here at PCA, and not from us, but from Christ, we give Him the glory. Something happened that He know that this was a safe place.
Wow.
This is a safe place where people did care for me, even though maybe some of us had thought we'd given up. But He felt love, and He felt connection, and He felt safe
Hmm.
at our school. So those are stories that we cherish,
Yeah.
to know that God is in control.
Hmm.
All we can do is love these kids and
Yeah.
pray for these kids and plant these seeds and support them and their families. And
Hmm.
the rest is in Christ's hands.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's been a
Well, I think that's an incredible story that reminds me of a speech I actually listened to a few months back, but kind of on the importance and the value that teachers actually play on
mm,
children. You have a lot of influence, and so
mhm.
you can either use that to display Christ's love for them, or you can abandon them. But you know, by loving those kids well, you have no idea what impact that can kind of make, even if you do want to give up.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's that's
And
exactly it.
we're an open enrollment school, so
Hmm.
which means that we take if you're a Christian, we'll take you.
Yeah,
If you're not a Christian, you're in town, we're happy to work with you as long as you know we're going to teach you about God here, right?
yeah, yeah,
And if you're comfortable with that, come come to our school,
yeah.
right? And so we do have people that come, and sometimes being in this close knit community, we get concerns of parents or community members that say, we're going to let this kid in our school, like this kid struggles with this or this kid struggles with that, and I say let him in. I
Yep,
mean, we're preaching the word of God, and we're going to love them,
yep.
we're going to respect them, and there's no better place to come and ask questions, to learn
Hmm.
the academic skills, to learn how what this means to us as Christians in Three Hills and across the world.
Yeah.
So we want it to be a safe place for anyone who's looking, anyone who's searching, somebody who already has a faith. We want it to be a safe place
Yeah.
where they can come.
That's exactly it. Well, thanks for sharing that and sharing some of your insight, your cares, influences, motivations. That's really awesome, and I appreciate learning more about that. Okay, I got one final question for you, Barry, and then I think we're done here.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, once again, is kind of coming back to you personally. I always love to hear about things that God is teaching people, and so
Mm.
I'm curious: is there something that God has been reminding you of, encouraging you, maybe convicting you? I don't know what it may be, a verse, a story, a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something that God's been teaching you lately, would you mind sharing that with us?
Oh boy, yeah. Uh, I think God is saying right now, saying like, Barry, just get out of the way.
Hmm.
Just it's so hard sometimes as a leader to be, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yep.
And this, there's a great sense of pride and the insecurity that comes with that. And
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, that's something that's been coming back to me
Hmm.
this year is, you know, where's your faith in me?
Yep.
Have faith in me. And in these times of conflict, if there is conflict that arises,
Yep.
or times of we're questioning our mission, vision, agreed upon purpose, I believe that he's saying, just come to me,
Mm-hmm.
and take that time to think and reflect, and to be disciplined in prayer, in devotion, and yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
it's
Well, yeah.
yeah.
No, that's great, and I think it's a good reminder for all people in leadership, and whether it's a small position or a large one, and maybe all of us have influence in some ways, but to get out of the way, to let God work, and to trust Him, and therefore
Mm,
hand it over to Him.
amen.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Barry, for coming on the podcast, sharing some of your thoughts, some of your stories. In light of everything we've said today, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners? Anything else you want to get out there?
Yeah, any final thoughts? No, just don't give up on these kids. Don't give up on them. And
Don't
it's
give up
so
on them.
easy to peg these next generations as with negative characteristics, like millennials or Gen Z or Alpha. But they have something to offer
Hmm.
that's different
Yeah,
than maybe what we grew up with, and that's fine. We don't have to be scared of that. We can work with that, and yeah,
there you go. So don't give up on them.
don't give up on them. Yeah,
Perfect. All right. So if you guys want to learn more about PCA, you can find them online. I'm going to assume Prairie Christian Academy.
Prairie Christian Academy. Yep, you bet.
.ca. So if you want to learn more about the work they're doing there, you have a kid you think might actually be interested in attending there, you'd like to enroll. That's a place you're going to want to check out. If you want to learn more about Prairie College, the other Prairie place in Three Hills, you can check out prairie.edu, www.prairie.edu, or you can find our social media and you can learn about other podcast episodes, other people we've got on here. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Barry.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.